Mike?
Well, I would like to jump in real quick and say, man, if you are developing a virus that is a respiratory problem, talk about I can't breathe, which is the whole theme of what's happening in the country right now. And to piggyback on what you said, Bishop, um, with the militarization of police and even using military as police to stop the rioters is false, because they're not trying to stop the rioters. They're using the rioters as an excuse to stop the protesters. The protesters and the protests are what they want to stop. And when you see white people come out on social media and on TV and all kinds of other things, and it's hilarious to me when white people want to quote Dr. Martin Luther King as this bastion of peaceful protest. And when Dr. King peacefully protested in 1967, Dr. King was the most hated man in America. It wasn't black people that hated him. When he peacefully protested, they sicked dogs on him. When he peacefully protested, they turned high power hoses on him. They arrested him. They jailed him. They beat him and his followers and eventually assassinated him. They have essentially done the same with Colin Kaepernick for simply taking a knee. It's the protests they want to stop. It's the rioters they use as an excuse. And when Donald Trump said yesterday he was a friend to the protester, an ally to the peaceful protester, at the same time that he was saying that, he was gassing a peaceful protest across the street from the White House. They were shooting rubber bullets at peaceful protesters across the street from the White House so that he could politicize and manipulate and go stand and hold up a Bible that he didn't open so that he could stand in front of a church that he didn't enter, and so that he could take a photo op instead of pray. The Episcopal Bishop of DC denounced it. Today, he stood in front of the shrine of Pope John Paul II to do the same thing, and the Archbishop of DC denounced it. And the white evangelical Protestants praised it because he's the law and order president. And he was taking a stand for law and order. And of course, no president that we know of has committed more crimes than the law and order president. But it is amazing to me when the white evangelicals denounce the protests, when the Protestants denounce the protests, and it's right there in their name, and they don't get it. So I think Donald Trump is trying to set things up to be a dictator. Republicans have denounced dictators since they were Republicans. And I pray to God that this is the line in the sand that Donald Trump has drawn, that the Republicans and the white evangelicals will not cross. But I'm just afraid that if it keeps them in power, then it's okay.
I got a question for you, Mike. Do you have security?
Not yet. Not yet.
Because there's two people that need security, that need it bad. Would you like me to tell you who they are?
Yeah.
You and Kevin Williams.
Well, I'm good.
Because the stuff that y'all say is so true and so ahead of the game. This is if this was a movie, if this was a movie, and it probably still is, your phones would be tapped, all your movement would be. We don't know. Look at the world we live in. Come on, the video he just got finished playing to us. Come on, there's stuff going on.
Right.
Because Mike, I don't want you to jump on George Bloomer's bandwagon of what I'm proposing is happening. But see, I think that we seen the first move on the chessboard of dictatorship yesterday. That was the visible move that we saw.
That was the first opportunity he had to implement what he's wanted to implement since he ran.
Yeah. So we see that. So I don't see him leaving. I don't know what he knows about these vaccines, but he's pushing it awfully quick.
Yeah.
I mean, no, quick. Yeah. And he's on it every day, all the time. So Kevin, take it from there. Do you believe that he could be setting himself up to be a dictator?
I don't think that our Constitution will allow that to happen. I don't think that any individual has that kind of juice or that kind of power in our country. That's the first thing. The second thing is that biblically, I'm going to have to go back to the word. It is not possible. I don't care if he was doing that. I don't think he has the possibility or the capability of being able to do that. I don't think that Congress is going to allow that to happen. I don't think that God is going to allow that to happen when it comes to dictatorship. Now, do I think that there are some things that are happening that are behind the scenes? Bishop, I got more information than I probably could share publicly. But yes, there's a lot of information there behind the scenes.
So I didn't ask you, was he going to do it? I asked you, what I was asking was, do you think that this is where it's going to? Whether or not he can actually do it, or that's not what I'm asking. Because I don't, because I follow scripture, so I know that the one world government is not going to be ran by somebody from the United States of America. So I know that. Right. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, can you see that all of our we have been in constitutional crisis at least 3 times that we can look at it right now.
Can I say something real quick before you respond, Dr. Williams? The Constitution is useless without people to defend it. So the Constitution has no power of its own without people there to interpret it and to defend it, or to misinterpret it and ignore it. And when people talk to me all the time, basically daily, about why am I always on Donald Trump, I tell them that when I joined the military, I took the same oath that Donald Trump, the vice president, every member of Congress took, which is to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And sometimes the domestic enemy is the President of the United States. And every time he has pushed back on the Constitution, the Republicans have let him do it. And I'm just not sure that if with all that they have allowed him to do, that this is the one they draw the line, because they've allowed him to do everything he has wanted to do. So without the Congress there to defend the Constitution, it's just a piece of paper in a museum.
As is any law, as is any law.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, which would set up the move that was made by the Lord to put the Congress in the hand of an opposing party. So at least we're halfway there, because if we were in this situation and they controlled the House and the Senate, and this happened, we may be looking at a whole different result.
And dictators always rise incrementally. It's always little things, little things, little things, little things to push back, to push back, to push back until you're in position now.